the record itself, we really wanted to, you know, again, kind of experiment into something a little bit different.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now. James of Harm's Way, thank you so much for your time today. So what is it with hardcore bands playing in abandoned, dirty tunnels?
It's funny that you bring that up, because I will say, filming a music video in like a hardcore metal band, I feel like a lot of times it's very hard to get creative, right? It's either in like a forest, a tunnel, an abandoned building, or whatever. But we tried to lean on some of the other aspects of the video to, bring it in, But no, you aren't wrong. It's a common theme amongst many, hardcore metal bands.
When we're talking, we're less than 2 weeks away from Come and Suffering coming out. So you come across extremely, always I think in interviews, pretty chill, laid back, calm. Is that a facade, and underneath it's like, oh fuck, a new release in less than 2 weeks? Is the energy there, or are you just take it as it goes kind of guy?
Well, it's kind of funny because the record itself has been recorded and mixed for over a year at this point. And just obviously due to the process and how long that takes, and the vinyl backup and all those things. So honestly, I'm actually excited to finally release the full record, given that it's over 5 years time since our last one. So, I'm definitely excited. I'm not, I don't know if I show a lack of emotion from it, because it was an exhausting process, but no, I am very excited to finally start releasing new music and then playing live again.
You guys have an interesting journey, because like you guys are always like, you've been doing this for a long time, longer than you probably want to think about, and slowly but steadily you guys more and more of a presence. And now it's like, oh yeah, Harm's Way, like one of the leaders in the hardcore scene, and headlining tours and stuff like that. And it kind of, it's almost like the overnight sensation 20 years in the making. But during that time, we've seen like bands in the hardcore scene shoot up that were like the big new thing, and then like 3 years later we don't hear from them anymore. But you guys have like for a very long time been consistent, taking your time, maybe also in between certain releases. What's been the, what's been the, let's say, like one of the keys to success of keeping that, that build up, that momentum, that not, hey, we're the new hot thing, and then, nobody hears from us ever again. What's the secret sauce there for you guys?
To be honest, for us, the band was we never went into it to be a profession, or to, be something that we wanted to be a career. So, we kind of just did it as a hobby. And I think when you write music with the same people for a long period of time, over time, we're talking 17 years at this point, you kind of want to, build upon the previous release. And so, when we go into creating a new record or new music, we just try and make sure that we, maintain the Harm's Way sound, but then try to build upon that, or to grow on it, to make it interesting. And I think the key to keeping a consistent, growth is just honestly, making sure that, the people in your band are people you want to be around. People that so many bands have members that they don't really they aren't friends outside of the band. And I think like just having, us as friends and being as close as we are, and that kind of growing over time, it just kind of became who we are. And whether, and like I said, we never really imagined that the band would grow to this level. It was kind of just something that we enjoyed to do. And obviously we still enjoy it, but, I always say, it's better to do things that you want to do on your own terms rather than to force, music that, you might not be as into, or it's not on your timeline of, and obviously the last, 3 or 4 years have been quite difficult just given, the climate of the world, and, so, honestly, I will say though, this particular record in itself is something I'm probably the most proud of that I've ever done with the band. Just, given all the hardships and things we had to go through to get to this point. So, and I guess I would say, going back to your question that, you can't really put a lot towards, what other people think, like when you're a band and you're kind of making yourself vulnerable, you're putting out new music. Now you have to do it for yourself, because like if you're trying to be popular or not go without any criticisms, right, you're really going to find yourself in a lot of trouble, right? I always say don't read the comments on things, don't, because people will literally destroy your whole world. That's something you worked hard on for years and years, and you can't take it personal, right? You just have to say like, this is what we do because this is what we want to do, and we do it for us. And when we don't want to do it anymore, we won't. So that's kind of how my mentality towards, just maintaining that for as long as we have.
Like hardcore as a whole has, over the last decade, branched off into so many different directions, and it has evolved quite a bit. Have you seen your audience also change over time? Because I'm sure that there's a whole lot of people now finding their way to your band that would have never found you 5 years ago. Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think partly that has to do with our growth musically, but also the type of tours that we've chosen to involve ourselves with, and that's kind of for us. We like to try out new genres of music and see how well we do. We've done Cannibal Corpse, Ghost Main, right, Black Dahlia Murder, right, all kind of different, different styles within our genre, and. It happens all the time where, we'll play a show or a fest and people are like, oh, I saw you on the Black Dahlia tour or Cannibal tour. And, that's just kind of a cool way to branch out as well. I think obviously with this record in particular, the song with Chris from King Woman, I think that will definitely, kind of grow us into even a greater audience, so, but yeah, no, it's definitely something I've seen, definitely in the last 3 or 4 years for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about these songs then specifically, because I could keep asking you questions about the scene and evolution, all that kind of good stuff. But if we go into the specifics, because the album, there's a very specific parts to the album, and you guys start off energetic and a little bit more maybe old school. There are traces of noise rock and groove metal and post-core and post-metal and everything in there. And with Denial, Hollow Cry, Devour, it's like just a non-stop barrage of punches in the face. And then all of a sudden we get to Undertow, and it kind of gives us all of a sudden some room to breathe in an intense way. But it's almost like you guys are like, hey, this is different, pay attention. Like it's almost like you're yelling to the listener, this song in particular is important. Is that a right way to interpret it?
Yeah, I would say that the way we structured the track listing was something that we probably went back and forth on for two and a half months. So right. it's not just something that we threw together in the way it came out. But, I think the idea was mostly to, when just like a show, right? If you have like 6 bands that sound exactly the same, right? It just gets redundant, and I think the record itself, we really wanted to, again, kind of experiment into something a little bit different. And kind of, again, some people would say that, it sounds like a completely different band. But to me, that just means that you're not fully educated in the metal genre, when it comes to bands like Converge and Neurosis or, the Melvins and those types of things. Like that's kind of what, we wanted that song to sound like. And, the placement there, I think, definitely had to do with, let's have people listen to what they're mostly used to. Yeah. And then, if they've made it that far, now there's something a little bit different,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like it kind of puts it puts a pin in like side one, if you will, and it kind of completely, changes the game. And then if you look at side B of the record, especially songs like Cyanide and Terrorizer, there's the second half of the album is a lot more experimental. It feels like, I feel like those first few songs, it's like, yeah, it's aggressive. That's what we know from you guys. But you guys go into it more, adventurous territory in a way. Is that not just to kind of warm up people and then give them something new, or is the music, apart from the lyrics, also telling a story in a way, like it's taking us in a different direction?
I think maybe unintentionally, it kind of turned out that way. But definitely like you said, Undertow was definitely a purposely to be the end of side A. Yeah. Because we thought it would be a really, and I know people probably don't consume music that way as much anymore, full albums, but that was kind of how we had structured it. And then, I would say songs 6 and 7, Heaven's Call and Cyanide, those were kind of reeling people back in. Those are definitely heavier tracks. And then, I mean, obviously, ever since Isolation, we've kind of tried to experiment a little bit with the electronics. So, I think moving forward, we'll probably have a couple more of those types of songs, because this was probably the most well-written, in my opinion, electronic song that had like legitimate structure. And then, obviously the last song, I think, is one that is, a way, again, kind of to a good album ender into a much more experimental, direction than we ever have, given that I barely even sing on that song. It's all our guitar player, Nick. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely, I get it's, when you broke it down that way, I guess I never really thought about it, but it is kind of preparing people for something different as you move along. Yeah.
You're going on the road, you're headlining a really cool package. A tour that is going to touch down right here in Toronto, October 25th, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yep.
So, I mean, yes, there was the pandemic and that forced everything on hold, and there's going to be people on this tour seeing you guys for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, and you've got lots of music still to shoot our way. What can we expect from this tour? Like, what's the focus going to be?
Honestly, to be honest, the focus is for us is to kind of get back in the groove of things. I think we've only played 6 shows since 2019. So, I think we wanted to put together a package that, I think people would be into, but also have some diversity, to not, to kind of break up the monotony of, just heavy. And, it's definitely, I think, you know, obviously at this point we have a lot of songs, and you know, we'll play probably 4 new songs, and then you know, probably incorporate, you know, the best of the rest of the records. You know, maybe a couple, you know, songs that I know we've been talking about adding a few songs that we haven't played in a long time that kind of, you know, switch up the set list. But that's kind of the concentration is really just going to be on getting used to, you know, playing on a consistent basis. And you know, we've been practicing a lot, so you know, we're hoping to, you know, be as tight as possible and and get back on track. So
you said that it took you guys about 2.5 months to get the track list of this album ready. So how long have you guys been arguing about what the set list is going to be?
You know, it took a lot less time to the set list is actually went pretty smoothly, but we mostly agree, you know, because especially with the newer songs, you know, it's going to be, I think, mostly the singles, minus Undertow, and then probably one other song. I think we're going to try and play that, you know, hopefully by that time people have heard the record, you know, a couple of times. So yeah, but the set list usually goes pretty well because we kind of are aware what people want to hear. So
yeah. I mean, the silver lining of things like Spotify, where it's pretty quickly to see like, hey, out of all of our songs, what do people listen to all the time?
Yeah.
Hey, James, I look forward to your show in Toronto in a month from now, and I'm excited for you guys to release the full album with all of its richness and fun things to discover for old fans and new in just a week and a half from now. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I wish you guys the best.
Awesome. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.